This morning with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome to the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. This is a work session. Today is, I believe, October the 7th. And unless it's today the 7th?
No.
8th?
I don't think it is.
I'm off a day. Nope, this is the 7th. There you are. See? I'm right on track.
Yeah.
My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair of the Shawnee County Commission this morning. Commissioner Aaron Mays is joining me. Commissioner Bill Rippon. Our county councilor, Mr. Eckert. This morning we're going to have a work session where we're recognizing our employees of Shawnee County and how long that they have been serving with us and working with us as the Shawnee County public servants. So I'm going to turn it over to Angela Lewis here just a little bit to get us started.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just as a matter of housekeeping, I just kind of want to explain how this will work. When your name is called, please come to the front. You'll move over to the side, and then pictures will be taken after the people in your group have received their award. So at this time, we'd like to congratulate our Shawnee County employees who have achieved 5 years of service with the county in the last quarter. Please come forward when your name is called. Daryl Trout. Don't believe he's here.
We're going to come on up and around.
Oh, yes, please. Eileen Mustafa. Beverly Strauss. Stacy Steenbach. Rebecca Robert, Sabrina Bowden, Thomas North, Gregory Rogers, Michelle Bosworth, Marcus Pitts, Trevor Heaney, Right. Corey Barrett. Jeffrey Hunt. Guy Gardner. Joshua Franco. Michael Hurla, Matt Patterson, Kenneth Gibson, Shannon Webster, William Sutton, Leroy Lattimore, and Joshua Garcia. Thank you all for 5 years. If you'd like to come back, we'll take a quick photo. The following employees have achieved 10 years of service with Shawnee County. Please come forward when your name is called. Corey Payne, Ashley Spoonmore, Margaret Thayer, Jonathan Bray, Don Gleason, Darren Bowden, Daniel Dodds. That is our only 10-year recipient. Next, we have one 15-year recipient. That's Tracy Podlina. Okay. We have 18 employees who've worked with Shawnee County for over 20 years. At this time, we'd like to have the department heads and elected officials recognize their employees who have achieved 20 years of service or greater. Brian, you're first up.
Thank you, Angela. Good morning, everyone. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. I apologize for some of our staff, a lot of them that are being recognized today they work third shifts, so they got off and this is their time to recuperate and recover, so I apologize and I'll pick up theirs. But our first person I'd like to recognize is Chris Torres for 20 years. Chris has been with us a long time, serving many different areas of the facility of adult detention, special housing, use of force, self-defense training, and serves currently as one of our line supervisors. Chris is not one to shy away from work. He puts in extra time and goes above and beyond, and I just would like to say thank you to Chris for all of his work and effort. He's a third shifter, so he just got off, so thank you. Where's Veronica? Come on up here, Veronica. Veronica's here, and she makes commercials. I saw her in a commercial. Veronica's been with us 25 years, Juvenile Detention Center. And for those that work at the Juvenile Detention Center, that staff there, and even on the adult as well, but you really see it a lot on the Juvenile Detention Center, where they go above and beyond for those that work at the Department of Corrections. Veronica now currently serves with our ISP, or Community Corrections, which is going in the next step of trying to break the cycle of our offenders, meeting and watching over our offenders when they're on supervision, making sure they're staying with the proper protocols, going and doing home visits, and a lot of time working outside the office, working with the courts. It's never pleasant when, you know, we have to send somebody back or somebody that may potentially violate probation. But Veronica is one of those who makes sure that our clients are successful. And so with that, Veronica, thank you so much. Adam is one of our, oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm just ready to get through it. Adam Harrod for 25 years. Adam is one of our supervisors with the inmate lawn crew, so he's out on a job today. But to speak a little bit about it, Adam's done about everything. He's worked in operations, he's worked in special services, which is booking. He served a great deal of time in our court transport. And now, a lot of times, our senior staff really enjoy being able to bid when it comes to our supervision of the inmate crews out in the community. You've seen a change with Adam. I think that Adam sometimes was kind of one of those stoic officers, and now that you get him out in the fresh air every day or whatever, you see a different side of Adam. Adam really enjoys working with the inmate crews, working with the public. This is a tremendous program we have in the community, and Adam does a tremendous job. So thank you, Adam. Hop? Sir. Come on up. Tough for me to, this guy doesn't need any announcement. He does it all. He has worked in operations a great deal of time. He has served our military. His wife makes some of the best cheesecakes I've ever had. But I will say that William is a tremendous part of our recruitment and retention. For those who have been, and the commissioners have been to our academies, and anybody's been to our academy, Hop, I call him Hop, he's a motivator. He's guided by his faith. He trusts his faith. He works diligently with our new hires. Sometimes he has to be tough, and because this is a tough discipline to learn. But William has been there for all of our staff. He works closely with the administrative staff, giving us good ideas on how we can recruit and retain staff. If there's somebody out there, there's a great deal of thank yous that need to go to the Department of Corrections when it comes to the retention of our staff. This is one of them. He's the one that makes sure they get off probation. He's the one that gets them through working with our field training officer. He's a field training coordinator, and I couldn't ask more from this man, and I appreciate it. Thank you, William.
Professional correctional specialist.
And he is a professional correctional specialist.
Amen.
Tanya. Another staff that I can give a tremendous amount of thanks. Tanya has worked in adult operations, has worked with programming, special services, and currently serves in our transport unit. This is a tough job. Taking people outside of a secure facility, a secure perimeter, taking them to the numerous appointments when it comes to behavioral health appointments, it comes to doctor's appointments, it comes to court appearances, transporting to other counties. This is somebody who takes the first line and does it. Tanya has been very instrumental when it comes to our firearms training. She has a tremendous passion for making sure our officers pass, not just to give them a grade to say you'll get through. She puts it on the line for the staff. She comes to me often, she goes to our supervisor staff saying, we're making a mistake in this area of training. We have to make changes. Tanya goes above and beyond. She stays late. She comes in early. She represents our agency very well. And again, another officer with all of our staff. I can't thank you enough, Tanya, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. Brandon Switzer, he is in court right now, making sure the court service on the Department of Corrections is going through. Brandon's been with us 25 years, and like the other staff that are here, he's done everything at the department. He has worked in operations, he's worked in special services, he's worked as our property officer, maintaining and making sure that our releases in the morning are out when it goes to prison. He serves as a union steward representing that pool very well, and currently is working in our classification area, making sure that we get our staff to court. We meet our 48-hour probable cause and detention. Brandon has worked diligently when it comes to retention, trying to find out different ways, holding staff accountable when it comes to sick leave, things like that. Brandon is, just like the other staff that we have here, he is a very good leader with our staff, and I thank Brandon for his time. And I thank you, Brandon. Dorina? Dorina, another 25-year veteran at the Department of Corrections. Majority of her work, if not all, has been on the youth juvenile detention center. Just like I said with Veronica and others that work at the Department of Corrections, especially on the juvenile detention center, you have to have the right attitude to work there. It's different than working on the adult detention area. I often say that the adult is corrections with programs. The juvenile side, in my belief, is a programs with corrections. Dorina serves as a training officer. She serves in our programs area. And you talk about somebody who's very creative when it comes to monthly celebrations, recognition, and really pushing the juveniles to succeed. Dorina's there. She does it. And again, another person who is responsible for the retention and hiring at the staff. Dorina, thank you. Thank you. This time, I'd like to call Teresa Fisher.
Good morning. Teresa Fisher, Director at the Health Department. I'm here today to recognize Alexandria, or as we know her, Allie Vega, for her 20 years with Shawnee County. Allie has worked all 20 years with the Health Department. So for me, when I put some remarks together, this was a little bit of a walk down memory lane. Allie and I have actually worked together the entire time I've been at the Health Department. I worked alongside her initially. Allie was a Healthy Start home visitor doing home visits, and I was a new nurse doing home visits. A few years later, I got to transition into Allie's supervisor and work with her in a different capacity. I've had the opportunity to see Allie grow in her role from being a Healthy Start home visitor to a WIC clerk, and now in her most recent role as our support services supervisor over our WIC clerk. So for many years, Allie served our pregnant families and infants and young children here in our community, providing them education and resources. It was a role that fit her well, and she excelled in it. We had some program changes, and she transitioned into a WIC clerical member at that time. And very quickly, Allie learned the clerical process. She quickly became the go-to staff member. And then a few years ago, she was promoted into her current role as our support services supervisor. And since then, she's hired multiple new staff members. She's trained them. She oversees our WIC interpreter. And she has held steadfast to stay as that go-to person. So she does an excellent job serving our clients. Allie truly knows our community inside and out. She is the gal you go to if you've got a question. So I wanted to give your direct supervisor an opportunity. So these next words are direct from Stephen to you. Allie is one of the strongest, driven, and family-focused people I've ever met, and those who have had the good fortune to work with her know this. It is an honor to work beside her, and I am thankful I get to work with her every day. Her coworkers, the WIC program, and the health department all benefit from her presence. Stephen, I know you're watching right now, and I couldn't have said it better. Allie, you are truly a valued team member, not only for the WIC team, but the health department as a whole. And I am so glad that you found a career in public health. Congratulations on your 20 years.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. Continuing my streak of camera-shy employees, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize both Alan Frazier and Javon Clemens for 20 years of continuous service here in Shawnee County. Alan Frazier, he is one of my drivers, and Javon Clemens, he is one of my route supervisors. Both of these gentlemen started out on the back of a truck collector 20 years ago, and then they worked their way up through the ranks, and then Javon ultimately being promoted to supervisor. Both of these gentlemen are highly regarded with their peers, and the department certainly thanks them for their service, and they're doing a great job out there today during the ceremony. So again, just like to take this opportunity and thank them for 20 years of continuous service. Thank you.
Morning. It is my pleasure to congratulate Mark Price on 25 years. Come on up, Mark. Mark started his career with Shawnee County Information Technology Department in September of 1999 as a PC support tech. Back when flip phones were just becoming a thing and the internet was still dial-up for most people. He was promoted to Assistant Network Administrator less than 3 years later in June of 2002. Then he was later promoted to Network Administrator position in July of 2012. The promotions just keep coming. He was then promoted to serve as the Network Administrator in November 2014, and he held the role until, Mark then held the role until the retirement of his predecessor, Pat Oblander. In late 2021, Mark was appointed to serve as the interim director for the IT department. In March 2022, Mark was permanently promoted to serve as a director of information technology. What a roadmap to the top. Through his long career, Mark has protected us from everything you see out in the world today that's a danger to us here at Shawnee County. Mark does an awesome job protecting the county, and we're honored to have him on our staff. Congratulations on 25 years.
Morning. I'm here to recognize Tammy Scholl. She had a prior commitment, so she's not here today. But I actually hired Tammy 30 years ago as a data collector, field staff data collector. I recognized right away she had this eye for detail and an analytical mind, which is a necessary part of being an appraiser. It didn't take her long to advance to the appraiser position, but it did take a lot of effort from her. She entered the profession back when the effects of reappraisal were still an issue. It was pretty volatile, but she stuck it out. With her drive and passion for her job, she made our office a better place. Tammy earned her registered mass appraiser designation, and she's an appraiser 3 now. Among other duties, she's has a daunting task of appraising the whole south half of Shawnee County. I'm extremely appreciative of the work Tammy does, and this recognition is well deserved. I wish she could be here to participate. Congratulations, Tammy, and thank you for your 30 years of dedication to our office and the people of Shawnee County.
Under Sheriff Hubler.
Good morning. Sam Leone. There's a lot can be said about Sam. He's a great guy. I've known him all my career. Well, all of his career, I guess, is a better way to put that. He's been with us for over 30 years now. He's worked in patrol, was a K-9 officer for years. Funny little tidbit. I worked in services and Sam worked in patrol, and my kids would say, "Hey, we saw you, you had a dog today." I'm like, no, I don't think Sam and I look that much alike, but back in the day, my kids thought that Sam and I looked alike. So Sam's a great guy, done a lot of great work for the Sheriff's Office, the K-9 unit. He was SWAT for many years, did a lot of good work there, spent the majority of his time in patrol, and then got promoted multiple times. Was a longtime lieutenant in investigations, did a great job for us there, and then most recently got promoted to captain in operations and has done just an absolute fantabulous job. Big transition time for the Sheriff's Office and getting new employees and managing the more experienced tenured employees and the new employees and getting them all to work together. But the Sheriff's Office wouldn't be the same. And so really appreciate everything that Sam has done for Shawnee County, the citizens of Shawnee County, and the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, Sam. And Sergeant Brad Metz is not here today. Brad has been here a long time. He actually started with the Sheriff's Office. Prior to his employment, he was a cadet many, many years ago when we still had a cadet program. Did that, did a short term for that, got hired at the Sheriff's Office, has been a K-9 officer. That's probably what most people know him as. He's been in charge of our K-9 program for many years, was a K-9 officer before that. Been a great asset. Our K-9 program has been exemplary. It's recognized throughout the state and even in the region. Or not only is Sergeant Metz, but some of our other canine officers are certified national instructors that we do. He does a lot of work with the Highway Patrol, other agencies around here. But he's been a great asset to the Sheriff's Office, and so thank Brad for his many years of service.
Good morning, Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. It's my pleasure. Tammy, stand up. I don't get to tell her what to do very often, but Tammy joined the Treasurer's Office on August 7th, 1989, and since that time she's served under 4 different elected treasurers. She's also done every job in the Treasurer's Office, and although she was never elected treasurer, I think there were times when she actually did the treasurer's position as well. I don't think you say Shawnee County Treasurer's Office without saying Tammy Teft. And over the last, particularly the last 2 decades, I think she's been the foundation of the Treasurer's Office. On a personal note, she has been my deputy for the last 12 years. We've made a lot of changes during those 12 years, and I could not have done that without Deputy Treasurer's support. So Tammy, thank you for your support, and the people of Shawnee County really appreciate what you've done over the last 35 years. Thank you.
Larry, you want to come up for the photo as well?
Oh, yeah. I'm different. Thank you.
Good morning. Today I'd like to start off with speaking about John Bell. John has been with us for 20 years. John, I know, has done a lot of different roles in Parks and Recreation over the years. He used to work at Rice Community Center, had that place hopping, oversaw the amenities at Gage Park, the mini train and carousel and those operations. Spent many years at Old Prairie Town, Ward Mead Botanical Gardens, and was really, quite honestly, sort of the glue that held that place together. Was a great mediator between horticulture and the friends groups and the recreation side, and so and he continues to be a great resource for our staff as we navigate that site. I was fortunate enough to ask John to become our park superintendent, and he assumed that role not too long ago and has done just an incredible job. And I think that's the theme that when you think about John and his service, and I've only been fortunate enough to work with John for about 6 years, but as I talk to staff and I learn about what he does and what he's done, that he's a team player, and when you ask him to do something, he does it. When we took over the Great Overland Station 3 or 4 years ago, and I went to John and I said, John, it just makes sense for you to do this. You know, it's close to Old Prairie Town, and John, looked me in the eye and he said that there's no way in hell I'm going to do that, Tim. So he speaks his mind, too. He's very honest. But that's not exactly how that went. And I knew in his heart John had plenty to do, but he took that responsibility on and did a great job with it. So cares about his staff, wants people that he works for to have what they need to be successful, does a great job. And John, I appreciate everything you do, not only for your staff, but for me. So thank you very much. Next on my list is Clarence Irish. Clarence, if you could come up. Clarence has been with Shawnee County Parks and Recreation for 40 years. So again, you know, I've only had the pleasure of working with these folks for 5 or 6 years, but when you think, in my mind, when you think about Clarence, you think about somebody where if you've got a problem, if there's an issue, and you don't know the solution, or you don't know how you're gonna fix it, that's the guy you call. You call Clarence. He's got a wealth of experience. He started out, I think, in our golf division. I heard that. And he now works in our facilities maintenance division. And like I said, we've got a lot of facilities. We've got a lot of things that we maintain. And with that comes a lot of issues. And Clarence is the man. Clarence takes care of those things when a lot of us wouldn't have the experience or the knowledge to do it. He's, like I said, he spent 40 years here making not only our department better, but this community better, a better place to live and work and play. And you know, beyond all of that, he's just a hell of a nice guy. He's a pleasure to be around. He's a pleasure to work with. So, Clarence, congratulations on 40 years. Okay, last, but certainly not least, is Miss Pam Domi. Pam, come on up. So Pam started out her career over in the IT department, I believe, and then we were lucky enough to steal her away and bring her over to Parks and Recreation. And for those of you that know Pam, you know that Pam does not play around. Okay, like Pam is, I think, has one of the hardest jobs in our department. So you've got a whole bunch of Parks and Recreation folks who don't get me wrong, we work hard and we get a lot of things done, but may not always be the most organized group, you know. And Pam keeps us in line. Pam sends me gentle reminders every other week about my timesheet needing to be approved, and I imagine that I'm not the only one she's doing that for. I imagine there's probably 30 or 40 other people in our department that she keeps in line. Pam is a hard worker. She's like I said, she's really the glue that I think holds us together. And anytime we have an issue, anytime I have a question, she's got the answer. So, Pam, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for devoting, 45 years to Shawnee County, and we all really appreciate it. Thank you.
Years. You can't say enough about that. And Pam, we couldn't do it in HR without you too. When you plus up by about 600 employees, and you and Michelle touch every single one of them every year. So we truly appreciate all your service to Shawnee County. Next, we'd like to talk about our retirees for Shawnee County. We have 3 individuals who've retired this year, and I'd like to invite their department heads to the podium to talk about them, starting with Kurt Niehaus.
Good morning, everyone. Todd Nettleton, he's, I don't believe, here. He told me he was not going to be here. But Todd retired on September 23rd after over 27 years of service to Public Works. Todd was hired in August of 1997 as a mechanic. Between then and his recent retirement, Todd promoted from mechanic to mechanic crew leader, to assistant fleet supervisor, and finally, after I arrived here 6 years ago or so, he was promoted to fleet supervisor. In addition, his skills as a welder came in handy a number of times. You can only imagine the things that we have to weld on out at the shop. And his skills at repairing equipment and fabricating parts is renowned. Now that Todd has crossed over into retirement, there's still plenty of responsibilities to keep him busy. You see, Todd's a cattle rancher. I think Public Works was the second job. And any property not used as rangeland to graze cattle, he uses to hay in support of his cattle operation. Todd has a number of hobbies, including fishing, especially in Canada. And he loves to bird hunt over his naturally capable and highly trained poodle pointers. Visualize those. One of Todd's bucket list items is to bird hunt on opening day in North Dakota and then working his way south to catch successive opening days from South Dakota through Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and finally Texas. I hope he accomplishes that someday. Todd loved tackling the challenging task of writing equipment specifications. It kind of soothed his meticulous nature. He loved balancing the realistic needs of the Public Works Department with available funds. Naturally, he enjoyed the camaraderie among the mechanics staff at the North Annex. Again, although he's not present, let us all wish Todd a happy, healthy, and successful retirement. I want to personally thank him for his service to Shawnee County. I have really enjoyed working with him. Not only was he a productive employee, but he was an interesting employee, someone I just love to talk to. So let's give him a round of applause. John, move back up.
Kim. We celebrated Kim's retirement earlier this year. Come on up, Kim. Kim serving close to 25 years with the Department of Corrections. Kim has been fun. I believe I'm the one that hired her. Kim has worked in adult detention. She has worked everything in the adult detention area and then made the move to our special services area working in bookend. Kim has been a leader in bookend. She has been through many computer changes, which she knows I hate, but she's the one that had to do it, not me. But she took those jobs on. You know, when you're talking about new things of taking DNA, new fingerprint systems, new pat-down laws, new rules when it comes to incoming inmates that are injured, book-in is like the emergency room. We book in close to 9,000 to 10,000 people a year on the adult detention center, and Kim is right there. You wouldn't think that maybe in a town the size of maybe or city the size of Topeka, but that is what we're faced with. And Kim takes it on. She works a great deal with our law enforcement agencies that come in, the courts, the families, the bondsmen, you name it. In booking, you are a face of the jail and the face for Shawnee County. And Kim has done that very well. And Kim, you stayed with us through tough times. I say this about anybody. When we went through COVID, we went through 70, 80 vacancies. She could have said, I'm done. And she didn't. So Kim, I love you. You know that. I love all of our staff. Thank you for everything you've done, and I appreciate it. And I can't say how much I'm proud of you and a well-deserved retirement. And thank you. The last one is Jeffrey Hall. This is a tough one for me. This is the guy when I first met. Now, he looked like a linebacker in football. He's not very tall, but man, he is stocky, he's strong. And he worked on all of his career in the juvenile detention center. And so I often, when I go over to the juvenile detention center, you know, I'll listen to the staff when they talk to the juveniles. And there was one juvenile that was, you know, being a little testing that day, and I thought, okay, what's going to happen here? This guy was like the biggest teddy bear I'd ever seen in my life. Soft-spoken, extended his hand and said, hey, what's going on? How can I help you? And I thought, okay, hold on, what's going on? And he was able to calm this juvenile offender down, able to redirect this person without any incident, and had a tremendous outcome. That's who Jeff was and is. Jeff is a tremendous officer and was very dedicated. I don't know if he used hardly any sick leave. Where's Stephanie at? Hardly used any sick leave at all. This is a guy that was up there at his age and didn't let that ever stop him, and then got to the point to where some health problems pushed him towards the point where he said, it's time for me to retire. I'll remember this forever when Stephanie, who's in the back, Captain Ron, said this was the toughest talk I've ever had with a staff who decided it was time to retire. I will always, and Jeff is still with us, he's fighting some health problems. He's in my prayers. I hope for a speedy recovery. But I want everybody to understand that this is a man here that put it on the line every day for Shawnee County. This is a guy here that put others first, including the juvenile offenders. This is a guy here that as soft-spoken as he was, I never would have thought that as big as this guy was, just how burly he looked, and it was just he's just a very pleasant individual. Jeff, if you're watching, I appreciate everything that you have done for us. You've done for me. I wouldn't be here without you. I love you. I appreciate everything you've done in Shawnee County and the Shawnee County Department of Corrections. Like Kim, it's a better place because of you. So thank you, Jeff.
That is the end of our awards for today. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone here. We are honoring people from 5 to 45 years, and that's amazing. We couldn't do all that we do at Shawnee County without you. Commissioners, I'll turn it back over to you.
As Angela said, thank you. Congratulations. You know, the HR department asked the commissioners to start giving an opening to the orientations for new employees. And sometimes we struggle with what to say to a new employee, but I'm going to pass on what I often share. In Shawnee County, we're different than a lot of other jobs that you may have. Our job is public service. In other businesses, it's about profit, making a widget, the bottom line. We're different. It's about serving the public. It's about offering to the public service and improving your community. And so whether you've been with us for 5 years or 45 years, you can directly see the impact that you have made on your community. And we thank you for that. So, on behalf of the Shawnee County Commissioners, thank you for everything that you've done, and thank you for your service. Commissioner Mays?
Well, it's tough to follow. I agree. I think it's fantastic. I mean, we do those orientations, and it's very tough to figure out what to say sometimes. Because the interesting thing when they come in, and you guys see this today, is that there's so many different things that we do here. And so, you know, everything from parks to elections to the jail to fixing potholes and, you know, all of these different things. But we are part of the same organization. We all work for our citizens. And so thank you. I think it's fantastic. 45 years. I mean, that's, and the other thing is that you see that some people don't start in the same position that they end up in. You know, there's plenty of room for advancement for our folks, but also if you don't want to work in HR, you can move to parks, and if you don't want to work in appraiser's office, you can move to solid waste. And I mean, it's all kinds of things that we can do. I mean, don't put it past him. But anyways, we thank you guys, and this is fantastic. Congratulations on these milestones, and we hope to have you for many more.
All right. Well, if we're talking about new employees, I always talk about customer service. I don't care what job you're doing, even us, we have customers. Everybody has. And, you know, like in corrections, not always the best clientele, but you have to treat them with respect. You have to listen to them, hear them out. They're not always right. Customer's not always right. But you have to, like I say, treat them with respect. But I would like to thank everybody here, and some of them were here that were mentioned for all their years of service and dedication to Shawnee County. Can't say enough for the people and what all you've done for this community. So thank you.
All right. Thank you all. And we'll transition back around. This is, our next item is public comment. If there is any member of the public that wishes to offer comment this morning, not seeing any. Our next item then would be administrative communication. If there are any administrative communications this morning, Commissioner Rippon, anything?
Go Chiefs.
Yeah. Commissioner Mason? All right. And with both of those, we're adjourned.